Mad Boxing Trick for Sportinarium, and delighted today to be joined by Miranda Warrior Higgins. Miranda, welcome. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Now, Miranda is currently an amateur boxer. Just tell us a bit about yourself, Miranda. Just you start with what you want us to know.
So I'm an amateur boxer and I'm turning 17 next week, actually. I'm from the UK and I have aspirations to be a professional. I'm turning in my 20s, but now as an amateur, my goal is to be the Golden Girl champion and national champion, aspiring for Europeans and World Championships too.
Wow, that's fantastic. So what's your kind of level you've been boxing at just now? Have you been going and doing nationals and things like that?
Due to COVID, I haven't had any fights, but I have got some good sparring in my gym. I've got professional sparring coming up. And as you can see in the photos in the back, I box out of Wirral CP from Ellesmere Port.
Brilliant. And I saw some stuff actually that you did a training session with Peter Fury. What was that like? That must have been amazing.
That was an outstanding experience and I'm very grateful for it still. Hopefully got another training with Mr. Fury coming up soon, but it was such a privilege to train with him. He's an outstanding coach and the experience was second to none, especially to meet Savannah and Huey too. Two of my main inspirations. Was great.
So did you get to have a spar with Savannah?
Unfortunately not. But I did train with Savannah and Huey and did like the pads and stuff with Peter, which was outstanding for me, yeah.
Amazing. So is boxing something that you've just got into recently?
So I've been interested in boxing since I was 7, but I started boxing when I was 15 because obviously I knew how difficult it would be. So at a young age, I thought maybe leave it for a bit longer and I started at 15.
Has that been difficult for you? Because 15, most people at 15, I remember myself at 15 and the last thing I was thinking about was boxing. But so was that difficult? Like what kind of things have you had to sacrifice for your training for boxing?
It was definitely hard because when I joined boxing, I was 3.5 stone overweight. So that was something that I had to get shifted, to participate properly, to fully enjoy the sport. So a lot of my free time was spent training. So when I wasn't in school, I was training, always out there doing runs. So I'd be doing a hit in the morning for an hour and then before or after I'd be doing a 1 or 3 mile run, coming in, hitting the bag. I'm always busy, always active, but something I love doing.
Wow. How long did it take you to get the 3.5 stone off?
So in the beginning of the lockdown last year in March, I was 70 kg, I think, which is over for me by quite a lot. And by August, I was down to 51 kg, where I'm maintaining between 51 and 53 now.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you.
So tell me, what's a typical day in the life of you?
So on a typical day, let's go for a weekend. I'll be up by 9 a.m. And if I'm not doing a training session in the gym, I'll be up at home doing a run, shadow boxing, skipping, ladder drills, bag work. I have a speed ball as well, double end one, which is good for my reflexes. So I do spend quite a lot of time on that. But I do enjoy training at the gym. So when I can get in there on the weekend for a Saturday session, I'll be in there with my coaches.
So has the impact of the pandemic affected you getting in and out of the gym then? Because a lot of the gyms were closed in that for a long period of time. And did that have an impact on your training for you?
It most definitely affected me getting to the gym and training with my coaches, which was a shame. But luckily, I have the facility at home of a bag and speed ball, and I'm lucky enough to have quite a nice area to do road work around. So physically, I could get my training done, but obviously it was a shame not being in the gym with my coaches and all my peers at the gym. But besides that, my training stayed on point and I was ready to go back when it opened up.
Did I read that your dad trains you?
Yeah, I spend quite a lot of time training with my dad alongside my coaches in the gym. But when I'm not in the gym, I do train with my dad who studied martial arts, so he's always got little tricks to show me and keep me on point.
Do you think that training with your dad benefits you, or does it hinder you in any way because you've got that personal relationship, obviously, with your dad? I mean, is he able to push you when he knows he can get a wee bit more out of you, or does it ever annoy you sometimes? Or what's it like?
It most definitely benefits me overall. Like, my dad's really helpful, but we've got that good like level of relationship where he will point out if I'm doing something just completely wrong, but he's also quick to praise me when I'm doing something right. It's that good balance. So he motivates me and makes sure I stay on point, but he gives me praise when it's due. So it's really good for my training. It's like beneficial for my mindset, because we're all about positivity.
What about your friends? What do your friends think about you boxing?
My friends are quite encouraging. They were surprised when I joined boxing, because I don't think they thought I was, ever going to be getting into something sporty, being 3.5 stone overweight. But when I got into it, all my friends have been supportive and they're happy with what I'm doing with it.
So do you have a plan, like what's next for you now that things like the gyms and that are opening back up, and hopefully, as things start to get back to normal a wee bit, what's the kind of next step for you? So is it to get into competition?
Yeah, most definitely. So I'm on point to fight when things open up, whether that was next week, for example. I'm ready, always ready to go. My head coach, Peter, is always looking for sparring for me when it's available, obviously due to COVID. But when it's opened up, he's got his eye open for me to get me going whenever we can. And most definitely, if we can this year, fight.
So see your coach, Peter, is that Peter Butler?
It's Peter Phelan, and I am also trained by Paul Butler, and there's several coaches.
Oh, Butler, sorry, yep.
They all help out. Everyone's brilliant, get me on the pads when they can, help me out. But my main coach, probably Peter Phelan, he's brilliant. He's helped me a lot over lockdown. So is Carl and Paul, all of them great.
So how often are you able to get back in? Like, how often would you typically go to the gym, say, in a week?
Gym sessions 3 times a week, like definitely pushing 4 or 5 if I can get in there. So we'll be doing like a class session 3 times a week, and if I can, I'll be having a one-to-one with one of my coaches. So one-on-one pads, running, fitness, just keeping me ticking over.
Okay. Do you? I kind of read that I saw one of your pictures on Instagram, and it was a picture of Katie Taylor holding all her belts, and you had said she was your idol. So was she or anybody else responsible for inspiring you to want to get into boxing?
Yeah, Katie Taylor is definitely one of my main inspirations. What she's done for women boxing is just outstanding. She's one of the reasons why we can get where we can now in women's boxing, and what she went through as a female in boxing for the sport. But I'm also greatly inspired from a young age with former old generation heavyweights, like Mike Tyson's behind me up there. I've got Muhammad Ali in my corner. Lennox Lewis. Since a young age, I've loved boxing as the sport, the dedication, the grit that people go through to reach their full potential. It's something that's always inspired me. So, people that put the work in, they inspire me. I love watching people work for what they want.
I was going to say that because I saw quite a lot of quotes on your Instagram as well, Muhammad Ali quotes and Mike Tyson quotes, and I thought, this is somebody, this is a girl who's been watching the old greats, been watching it for a while. So did you grow up kind of watching boxing and being interested in it then when you were young? Yeah,
definitely. So I restarted one of my old laptops the other day, and from the age of 7, it's just boxing, Mike Tyson, everywhere. And I remember one of the most influential fights that really got me drive going for wanting to join boxing was when Anthony Joshua fought Vladimir Klitschko, and I was watching it and I was like, wow, I want to be in there someday doing something like that. That's what I've aspired to, watching it, and I thought that'd be amazing to work hard enough to get myself up there.
Okay. Do you have a favourite boxer of all time?
Tough question, very tough.
It's hard, isn't it?
Yeah. Of this current generation, it's very tough. All the greats you've got Inui, the likes of him, he's around, he's amazing. You've got Usyk, quite like him, moving up from cruiserweight to heavyweight. But at the moment, my favourite heavyweight is gonna be Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury. But moving aside from heavyweights, I'd say probably Saul Alvarez, Canelo, definitely him.
He's doing fantastic just now, isn't he?
Yeah. Going to
Really
be some
is.
good fights coming up this year, isn't there?
Well, I was going to ask you about that. I was going to ask you, obviously you were in with Peter Fury and Mick Hugh Fury, that what your thoughts are on Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury.
Oh, difficult question again. I've been rewatching them both. Obviously, I spend an hour or two a day with what I call boxing education, whether that's reading from boxing books, like biographies of the champions, or books that guide you on boxing training, or I'll watch fights, or both. Been rewatching Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, and obviously they both box Vladimir Klitschko, didn't they? And from watching it, I'd say Tyson Fury handled Klitschko better. So based off that, I'd say Tyson Fury has got a good go at Joshua, but they're both outstanding athletes, so could go either way.
Do you think we're going to hear about it soon?
Oh, I hope so.
Hope so, I know. What about, you've obviously you mentioned Canelo there, and Canelo, he's got his fight coming up with Billy Joe Saunders soon.
Yeah.
If you get any thoughts on that, how that might play out?
I do think Canelo's going to get that one. He's just outstanding. I've been watching him too, obviously watching everyone I can get on YouTube. Tight fight, but I'm leaning more towards Canelo definitely for that one. What do you think?
I think at the moment Canelo's I think he's in his prime right now.
Yeah.
I think he's the best he's ever been, and I know quite a lot of people think that because Amir Khan gave him a bit of trouble back when they fought and being a southpaw, that Billy Joe can kind of do the same, but the fight with Amir Khan was like 5 years ago, so
when he wasn't
he's improved so much since then, so I just don't see anybody giving him any difficulty just now.
Yeah.
Just think he's amazing. Shout out to Canelo.
Yeah, shout out to him.
If he ever happens to hear us. Okay, so what's the kind of long-term goal you talked about in the amateurs, kind of going competitively? You mentioned the Golden Girl Cup?
Yeah, the Women's Box Cup, yeah.
The Women's Box Cup and nationals and things like that.
Yeah.
What about the long-term goal, though? What's your long-term goal? To one day turn pro, to be, to be in the Olympics team? What's your kind of long-term thoughts on where you want to be?
Long-term, definitely aspiring to be a part of Team GB, whether that means, going to the Olympics, representing them in any form possible. Professionally, definitely a one-time weight world champion, but with big aspirations, multiple weight world champion, because I've moved around from 57, down to 51 kg and felt strong all the way. So yeah, I feel like if I pushed for it, I could be a multiple weight world champion as long as I carry on with my dedication.
Do you feel as if you're missing out on anything that other girls your age are kind of doing? Boys and music and whatever it is they're into these days. I'm sure it was different in my day when I was that age, but do you feel like you miss out on anything?
I mean, there's definitely things that other kids my age are doing in their spare time compared to what I'm doing, but honestly, I love what I do. It's not like my training, as difficult as it can be sometimes, training 4 hours a day, 6 days a week maximum, but I enjoy what I do. As strenuous as it can be sometimes, it's something that I choose to do every day. It's something that I'm grateful to be able to do.
Do you feel as if your dad, you mentioned that your dad was a martial artist, was it? You said he was in the martial arts?
He studied martial arts for several years now. He knows he's particularly Aikido.
Right, okay. So do you feel as if your dad's background influenced you in any way?
Yeah, definitely. Growing up as a kid, me and my dad, we play fighting all the time. So I suppose that's had a massive impact, and subconsciously perhaps in my interest into fighting, and it took the form of boxing for me rather than martial arts.
Well, I was going to say that. What kind of made you decide boxing rather than martial arts, or was there something that made you decide one against the other, or was it maybe just that you were so interested in boxing because you watched it and stuff even at a young age?
I'd say watching boxing from a young age is always just had that drive for me to get into it myself rather than martial arts. I think it's just something that I'd love to carry on doing, and all the help that I get along the way from my coaches, You know, so people that just give me a positive comment on my Instagram, anything, little helps along the way, I'm always grateful for them. And I think with continued support and the drive and love that I've got for this sport, I can do it.
What advice then would you give to anybody who, like you, has an interest in the sport, maybe feels as if, you know, they're in their teens, if they left it too late kind of thing? What advice would you give to them?
And my advice for anyone feeling like that is to go for it, because as ironic as it sounds, you do only live once. And if you're interested in it, it's something you want to do, you've got to grab it with both hands. Don't worry about what other people might be thinking of you. The only opinion that matters really is your own, and those around you who care for you. So don't be frightened of doing it because you're scared of others judging you, because the reward that you'll get from it is second to none. And I highly recommend anyone who wants to join but is perhaps put off from other people to put that out of mind and just go and do what you enjoy. Find exercise that is beneficial for you, like mentally as well as physically, something that you enjoy, whether that takes the form of boxing, strength training or martial arts, whatever it is. I'd do it, get into it.
Well, I was going to say, you said that you're due to turn 17, so are you still in school or at college or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm studying at college at the moment, so I'm in 5 days a week, but outside of that I've got plenty of time for training. The schoolwork doesn't, I have a good balance. Luckily I can balance my schoolwork with my training, so it's all good.
Do you never get tired?
Yeah, sometimes, definitely. The rest days are very well needed sometimes, yeah.
Right, I usually do this thing where I ask people, it's like quick fire questions, right? So they're not necessarily to do with boxing. So I just ask you the question really quick and you just give me the first answer that comes to your mind. Is that cool?
Sounds cool. I'll try and keep my answers short.
Okay. Your favourite snack?
Snack, chocolate.
If you could be anybody for a day, who would you be and why?
Quick fire questions that I can't answer quickly. Who would it be for a day? Floyd Mayweather, because he's just living the life right now and he's got an amazing boxing career behind him. So definitely
him. Hobbies outside boxing?
Reading and music.
Okay. Favourite place to visit?
Anywhere outdoors, really. Love nature.
If you could be a superhero for a day, who would you be and why?
Thor, because he's my favourite.
Do you have a favourite animal?
No, I love all nature, to be fair. Any of them.
Okay. Something that really annoys you?
Judgmental people.
Okay. Favourite colour?
Red.
Who wins out of Savannah Marshall and Clarissa Shields if it happens?
Unbiased opinion, definitely Savannah Marshall, #1 in the world. Love her.
Okay. What about Natasha Jonas and Katie Taylor?
It'll be a good fight, but Katie Taylor.
Okay. If you're stranded on a desert island, 3 things that you want to have with you?
Family, food and water.
You know, I've asked loads of boxers that question, and only one has ever came back and said a helicopter and pilot to get back up the road. Like, people don't think it; they just instantly think water, my phone, somebody to talk to. Okay, describe yourself in 3 words.
Passionate, outgoing, happy.
Okay. Finish this sentence. To be happy, I need
exercise, family, and time outdoors.
So how can people follow you? How can people support you?
Support me.
You're on Twitter? You on Twitter?
I do have Twitter, but I'm not really active on it. I'm mainly active on Instagram.
Instagram, right, okay. So they can get you on Instagram. What's your name on Instagram? It's just
at Higgins Boxing.
Okay. Facebook, do you bother with Facebook?
No, not really.
No, just Instagram. I think Instagram's the one that all the kind of younger ones use now, isn't
it? Definitely,
like,
yeah.
So, as older ones that kind of use like Facebook and Twitter and stuff. But yeah, so people check out Instagram and follow your journey. You've got some sponsors on board as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I've had a nutritional sponsor since August gone last year. So David and Jack Paul, he's brilliant. Yeah, he's supported me a long way. I've got an international clothes sponsor, apparel. I've got promotion from the pugilist, and hopefully I have another sponsor on the way that's pending. So check my Instagram for news in the following weeks.
That's excellent. Excellent to have sponsors on board as well, because I mean that's going to help you along the way. So I'll ask everybody to follow you on Instagram, support you along the way, and hopefully then we'll maybe hear something this year. Maybe we could catch up again in a couple of months' time.
Yeah, definitely.
What's happening for you, and we'll keep a lookout for your videos and stuff. Once I get this sorted, I will let you know. I'll tag you in, shoot you a message on Instagram. But thanks for giving us your time today, and
we'll put
your name out there and get everybody on board, and catch up again in the future.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, thank you. It's been brilliant.
All right.
I'd love to. I'd love to have another interview. Yeah, be great.
Yeah, it's great. We'll put your name out there. I've actually got a friend who interviews a lot of the youngsters that are coming through and stuff like that as well. I'll happily shoot your name over to him as well. You know, for him to post on his channel, get in touch with you. And thanks, and I'll keep in touch and see how things going.
Right, thank you. Yeah.
Right, thanks. And one last thing before you go that I meant to ask you. Warrior. Who came up with the name?
I've had a couple of names, to be fair, like thrown at me, and I've liked a few of them, but the one that my granddad and my dad suggested, and it kind of just come to me, we thought, yeah, that sticks, because I'd like to think when put to the test, I'll always have the will and the determination to go for it.
Brilliant. Okay, that's great. Okay. Right, thanks again, Miranda. Again, everybody get behind this girl, follow her. It's always exciting to follow somebody from the start as well and actually watch them, go through their career. And we'll catch up soon.
Right, all right. Thank you.
Thanks for your time today.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.